Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel on the ancient Greek Koine language, and it's a pleasure for me to introduce you to this last part of lesson 2 on how to pronounce Greek. In the previous lesson, in the previous video, the previous part of this lesson, we've seen the accents, the Greek accents. We've also seen the phenomena like apostrophe, diaresis, and crasis in the Greek language. We've learned how to identify the Greek accents and how to identify this phenomena, and that was awesome. And for this lesson, this last lesson, I feel really pleased to see with you the breathing marks. Yes, we do have in Greek breathing marks, and I would invite you to breathe in and breathe out while we're getting into this very interesting lesson. And if you like this video, don't forget to give us our thumbs up at the end of the video, and also don't forget to subscribe to stay in tune with us and with upcoming videos on the ancient Greek Koine. Breathing marks in Greek Koine. What am I talking about? Am I talking about signs in Greek that tells you how to control, to keep your breath while pronouncing in Greek words? Not at all. Breathing marks are actually diacritical marks that indicate the presence or absence of the sound H in a Greek word. Well, in the Greek language, whenever a word starts with a vowel, begins with a vowel or a diphthong or the letter rho, this word bears a breathing mark over this beginning vowel or beginning diphthong or beginning rho. And this is what we call a breathing mark. In Greek, we have two different kinds of breathing marks. We have the smooth breathing mark and the rough breathing mark. A way to distinguish these two when looking at their form is to look at them as a comma-like signs, okay? As comma-like signs. For the smooth breathing mark, it starts from the top and goes slightly down to the left, while the rough breathing mark starts from the top and goes slightly down to the right. As you can see here with this, I tried to do it, okay, with this pencil. Let's do it again. The smooth breathing mark will start from the top and go slightly down to the left. That's the smooth breathing mark. The rough breathing mark will start from the top and go slightly down to the right. Okay, so it's basically, it's not really that, but a way to remember this is thinking of Greek language as a language that always has a smooth left and a rough right. Okay, yeah, it's like in a Greek language, the left side is always smoother than the right side. And that'll be a way to remember the difference between the smooth breathing mark and the rough breathing mark. Just like the accent, the acute accent leans to the right, while the grave accent, that is less acute, okay, leans to the left. So everything that leans or goes down to the right is always stronger, like acute or rough in the case of breathing marks. Okay? Again, that's just a tip to remember the difference between the smooth breathing mark and the rough breathing mark. It's not a linguistic aspect of the language. Well, we have these three words where we got breathing marks. Let's try to identify these two different kinds of breathing marks in these three words. We got our word anthropos, that means man or human. In the word anthropos, we have the accent, the acute accent, as you can see here. That's why I said anthropos, because an is the accented syllable. But on top, okay, but beside the accent, the acute accent, we have this little comma-like sign that is a breathing mark. Okay, make sure that you always distinguish the breathing mark from the accent by drawing the breathing marks in a curve-like form. Okay, some people um, usually confuse accent with breathing marks when writing them, when writing Greek words, by simply drawing the breathing marks just like accent. Okay, so some people would draw the smooth. This is the smooth breathing mark like a grave accent, and the right breathing mark like an acute accent. Okay, here we have this little curve-like form, little comma-like sign that is a breathing mark. And this is which one? The rough or the smooth? It goes down to the left, so it's the smooth breathing mark over the alpha. Okay? Because the alpha is a beginning vowel. It's very interesting and important to know that the breathing marks don't occur on any letter. They don't occur on any kind of letter in a word, nor do they occur on any kind of vowel. They always occur on the beginning vowel of a word or the beginning diphthong of a word. And when they occur on the beginning diphthong, it's always the second vowel of the diphthong that bears the breathing mark. Okay? And for the whole letter, it's just like that. So let's try to pronounce them. Let's try to see the variation in pronunciation that occurs with the presence and the use of the breathing marks. In the word anthropos, the smooth breathing mark functions like a mute H. So it's gonna be anthropos. It doesn't affect the pronunciation of the word at all. In the word oikos, it's still a smooth breathing mark, so it's oikos. But in the word rima, because of this rough breathing mark, the rough breathing mark sounds like a vocal H, so it's gonna be rima, rima, rima. That's the right pronunciation. Okay, now just like the accents, breathing marks have rules, but not as many as the accents do. For the breathing marks, we only have one rule. The rule is about their position relating to the accents in a Greek word. The breathing marks occur before the acute and grave accents and under the circumflex accent. As you can see in these two words, our smooth breathing mark with the acute accent, our smooth breathing mark precedes our acute accent over the alpha in the word anthropos. In the word oikos, since the accent is a circumflex accent, the smooth breathing mark occurs under the circumflex accent that serves as a hat or a cover for like a lid or hat over this little breathing mark. Okay, so that's the only rule we have for breathing marks, and it's about their position. Nevertheless, we still have some precision to make, and our friend Athena will help us understand that when the initial vowel in a Greek word is a capital letter, the breathing mark that occurs over this Greek word will not occur over the word anymore, but before the word on the top left corner of this letter. Okay? So this is exactly what happened with our word anthropos. When alpha was a lowercase letter, the breathing mark, the smooth breathing mark, occurred or stood over the letter. Since it is a capital letter here, since it becomes a capital letter, our breathing mark occurs on the top left corner. Okay? On the top left corner of the letter alpha. Thank you, Athena. Now let's go to our exercise where we'll learn how to pronounce these very common Greek words, especially in the New Testament Greek version. We have a list of 19 words with their English meaning, and we're going to try to pronounce them, okay? Taking into account the diacritical marks. So now we get into serious stuff. We get into real, proper Greek pronunciation. Let's start off. This word has, as you can see, how many syllables? This word has 3 syllables. We have a, ga, pe. We have here a breathing mark and an accent. Now let's identify the type of each of them. Which type of breathing mark do we have here? Well, it's a smooth breathing mark. Then it equals to a mute H. While here we have an acute accent. An acute accent tells us that we have to raise the tone of our voice over this second called the penult syllable. So a, ga, pe, a 3-syllable word with a smooth breathing mark over the first syllable here and an acute accent over the penult, the middle syllable here, and then the last syllable just normal. So the right pronunciation of this word will be what? Well, it will be agape. Agape. Okay? So this is the accented syllable here. Good. Yep, let's proceed with this word, Zoe. How many syllables do you think we have in this word? Well, we have 2 syllables, right? Zoe. And the right pronunciation is Zoe because we have an acute accent here. Okay? Why isn't it why isn't it 1-syllable word? Because there's 2 vowels. Though they are 2 vowels, they cannot combine in 1 syllable since they don't form any diphthong. Okay? That's why we have 2 syllables here. Zoe, that's the right pronunciation for the word that means life in Greek. And here we have another word. Well, it's normally a 1-syllable word since we have only 1 vowel and 1 consonant. 1-syllable word. Do we have any diacritical sign? Yes, we do. We have this sign. What is it again? It's an accent. And which type of accent is it? It's a circumflex accent. So all 3 types of accent help us understand help us or tell us to raise the tone of our voice on the accented syllable. Okay, there is no difference, no real difference in the pronunciation of accented syllables from different from different kind of accent. Okay, whether it is an acute, grave, or circumflex accent, the accented syllable will still have a higher tone in its pronunciation. So it's gonna be gay. Well, what else? We have this word now. One moment. Sorry. Our next word is phone. How many syllables do you think this word might have? Well, phone has four, nay, two syllables. And what else do we see? We see this acute accent here that tells us the last syllable is accented and should be therefore pronounced with a higher tone. So the pronunciation will be phone, phone. It means voice. It's basically the same thing for the underneath word, psuke. We have the same acute accent here. So the pronunciation would be psuke, psuke. So these are very similar words in terms of pronunciation. Sige. What about this? How many syllables do we have? We have three syllables. Me, le, te. Since we have an acute accent over the middle syllable, this is the accented syllable. The right pronunciation of this word would be then melete, melete. It means practice. We have this word, two syllables. It's a two-syllable word. We have an acute accent that will rise the tone on that will increase the tone on the first syllable. So the right pronunciation would be techne, techne. That's a Greek word for art, and that's from this word. We have other English words like technique, things like that, technology. Okay, that's where we got these words from. And we have another word here with three syllables. It's a three-syllable word, and I like this word since we have a breathing mark. Okay, we haven't had it for a couple of words here. Here we have a breathing mark at the beginning of the word. Which breathing mark is that? Yes, it's a smooth breathing mark, and with an acute accent, all on the beginning vowel of the word alpha. So the right pronunciation will be let's pronounce each syllable separately first. Angelos. Remember that the gamma, the double gamma, when doubled, the gamma is pronounced like like an N and a G. So it's gonna be angelos. It's like an N here. The first gamma is pronounced like an N. When gamma precedes another gamma, when it precedes kappa, when it precedes key, okay, so it is pronounced like an N. So the right pronunciation for the Greek word that means angel is angelos. Okay, angelos. What about this word? Well, let's see how many syllables it has first. This word has three syllables. Where is the accent? The accent is on the ultima. The breathing mark is on alpha. And it's a smooth breathing mark, so there will be no H, vocal H sound. It's gonna be Adelphos. adelphos. And we have our word anthropos. Okay? And this word, very common word in the New Testament Greek, we have two syllables here. And we only have an acute accent over the omicron. So it's going to be theos. Theos. That means God. Can you pronounce this? Yes, you're right. It's cosmos. Cosmos. What about this? Well, it's curious. 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 What about this? Pretty easy. Logos. Logos. Well, this is a significant word, very common in the New Testament Greek again. And it's significant because we have a different kind of breathing mark here that is a rough breathing mark. And how many syllables do you think we have in this word? Well, we have two syllables. Okay, we, the epsilon and the upsilon and the iota form a diphthong with a rough breathing mark that begins, okay, the word. So what would be the pronunciation? Let's pay attention to this acute accent here. Let's mark it. Okay, so we have an acute accent over the omicron, and we have a rough breathing mark over the diphthong we. Okay, so what would be the right pronunciation? Listen to me. Pay attention to the pronunciation. It's gonna be huios, huios, huios. So always make sure that you have this H vocal, H sound, like a sound. Okay, so it's huios, huios. Okay, so that's the right pronunciation of this word. And then we have a word, another word, just like logos, that is nomos with the acute accent over the omicron. And then we have here another word. Can you try to pronounce it? Try it. Yes. Always highlight the different features of the word, like split it, break it down into syllables, and then try to identify any diacritical signs, like this breathing mark at the beginning on this diphthong, omicron, upsilon, u, and then we have the acute accent on the ultima. So it's uranos, and the right pronunciation will be uranos, uranos. Finally, we got our word. This is a verb that means to sing. And just like anthropos, we have both the smooth breathing mark and the acute accent on the same letter and the same syllable. And we have here, what do we have here? Do you remember? Well, right. It's a iota subscript. And it doesn't affect the pronunciation of the word. So let's just ignore it in terms of pronunciation, okay? But it's still important in the spelling of the word. So the right pronunciation of this word will be what? Let's identify the different syllables. It's a two-syllable word, so the right pronunciation will be ado, ado. Ooh, so this is how Greek pronunciation works. This is how you pronounce Greek words, and this is how you will be able to read, okay, fluently read any Greek word in any Greek sentence. Okay, so I hope this video was very helpful to you, and I hope that you will make it, okay, you will make it to the pronunciation of the Koine Greek and the pronunciation of Greek sentences, the reading of Greek. So I guess this second lesson was a pretty important tool in the pronunciation and the reading of Greek Koine. In our next lesson, that will be lesson 3, we will get closer to the Greek sentences where we will be practicing and challenging our expertise or our mastering of the Greek language pronunciation. Okay, so looking forward to seeing you guys for the lesson 3. That will be on the Greek sentence, the syntax of Greek, and eventually we will have some sentences to read and then practice our Greek pronunciation. Make sure that you go over all these things before lesson 3 and make sure that you master, okay, the pronunciation of Greek words, Greek letters, diphthongs, accents, okay, and breathing marks. That was a pleasure to accompany you in this interesting trip in the world of Greek pronunciation. So have a good one with Koine Greek and see you. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a like with a thumbs up. Thank you.